Now that we have our three buttons for question number one, we're going to create some small external movies for either a correct answer or an incorrect answer. So the first step is to go up and click File and make sure you're saved. And then jump right up here to in this gray layer, and there's a button here. If I click on it, it minimizes my movie. And it's just right down here. I can open it back up for later use. Now I'm going to go to File and New. I'm going to hit this button here and maximize it right up so it's full size on my stage. I'll center it. Notice that this one by default again is 550 by 400. We want this movie, which is going to be what happens when our incorrect answer is chosen. We want this movie to be the same size as our original movie where the quiz is. I'm going to click from the drop down menu and say show frame just to make it fit right here in this frame. Now let's see. I'm going to go up to File and Save As, and save it right in that folder where my Flash quiz project is, and I'm going to call this one incorrect. This will be our incorrect answer, and click Save. And I'm going to go to File, Import to Library. In my Images folder that I have that I had already, I have this image of an X, a red X. I'm just going to choose that, open it up, and it comes right into my library. Notice I have a library for my Flash quiz with all of my buttons that I already used. I have a library for my incorrect stuff, or my incorrect answer, and I just brought this X mark in. I'm going to bring that out and just drop it right onto my stage here for my incorrect answer. Good. And I'll call this one Image. This layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and that's going to be my background. Now I want my background to be below my image so that the image is on top. Okay. I'm going to create sort of a boundary box around this. And I'm going to click my rectangle tool, make sure my the new frame in the background layer is selected, choose my rectangle tool. My stroke color is black, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to choose a background of white, just simple. And sort of make a rectangle maybe about this big. Now notice that outline, the stroke color, this is a pretty big stroke size here of 4. I could click on it, double click on the stroke, and then I could change that size down or change it up. I like the big stroke color though, so I'll leave that at 4. Click my arrow tool. Good. I can click the keyframes in by holding my shift button down and multiple frames, and what that does is it selects all of the objects that I have, and it's nice to grab all of the objects at one time because then I can move them simultaneously around on the stage. So for example, I can center, and I click off. Now I'm going to click on my X, sort of put that somewhere right in my movie. Good. I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to call it text. And for the text, I'm going to say something like, here, let's make the text black. Sorry. And I'll make that a little bigger. Select it and maybe make it about 40. Click to my arrow tool and I can move that. Great. So this will be the message that comes up if someone clicks the wrong answer to our first question. The last piece that we need is a little button then that will close this movie so that they can guess again. So I'm going to click File, Save for our incorrect movie, and then I'm going to go to File, Insert, New Symbol. I'm going to choose a button. I'm going to call this button Try Again, all one word, and I'm going to click OK. Click in this first arrow or first frame, and I'm going to click my rectangle tool. I'm going to make both of these white, both the stroke color and the fill color white. And by doing this, I'm sort of creating an area where the button is live. Maybe an area, something sort of like this. Now, obviously I can't see it, but if I click on the frame, it gives me an idea of what that area is. Now, the reason that I do this is sometimes when I click just text in a button, the arrow has to exactly touch the text. But if I put the background color here, now if the arrow goes over any of this area here in the button, it will register the button. So I find it's good practice to put a little bit of a background if you're just going to use text in a button. I'm going to click this frame and just click Insert Frame. That way, across all of the states, I have this background. Once again, I can just click on it, click in here, and get sort of an idea of where it is. Now I'm going to insert some text on this layer. Choose a frame, my text tool, and I'm going to say something like X. Try again. Oops. I'm going to select that. Now I want the text to be black, and I also want this text to be a little smaller. Something like 20. Click my arrow tool, and I'll try to move my text roughly where that. So here's my text. Let me click that background and see if I'm within the background area. That's pretty good. So I'm right there. That means this is all of the button area. So if anybody rolls over anywhere in this area to hit the try again, I'm going to be pretty good. Now I can click this and try to center it up. There we go. So, you know, once again, that background helps it so the button triggers a little easier than just trying to get your mouse right over the top of the text. I'm going to go back to scene 1. Once again, we're on our incorrect movie here that we're going to load up when someone grabs an incorrect answer. I'll create a new layer, and this one will be called button. And I can grab my try again button and just drag it right out here. Now notice I have this white background, so I gotta make sure that it fits. I don't think that quite fits, so I'm going to go into my button. I can click on my arrow tool, click on this background, and I'll select all of that. I'm going to make the width on this thing down here maybe 115. And now I can move my text a little bit. Great. So between playing with the background and the foreground, now when I check out my scene, I see that my button fits without going over the top of my background. I click on my button and just kind of move it so it's fit right here. So when someone clicks a wrong answer, this will pop up. It says sorry, and then this button try again. They'll need to click this, and that'll enable them to try again. So that's pretty much it for our incorrect SWIF, except for the fact that this button here does not have any action actually attributed to it yet. So we're going to click Save. Okay. Now there's two sets of code. One that's going to load this movie up and one that's going to unload this movie. let's start with the load movie. So what we're going to do, once again, File, Save. I'm going to shrink this down by clicking Minimize. And now I have my main project and my incorrect project. I'm going to load my main project up just by clicking here on this. It maximizes it up. And I'm going to click on this button number 2. And this button number 2, what is this? Methoxymethane is incorrect. This is jet fuel. This molecular structure is not jet fuel. So I click on this button. I'm going to shrink properties, open up actions, and I have the code right here that says on the release of this button, I'm going to load a movie onto a layer number 1, and that movie is going to be incorrect.swf, and we created our incorrect movie project, and it'll load that movie right up. So I'll shrink this, and this will also be the same action here, ethanol, which is alcohol. This molecular structure is not ethanol either. I'm going to click on my Actions menu. I have that same code. This answer is also incorrect, so if this button is pushed, it will load the incorrect SWF, and you'll get the incorrect answer. I'll click this down, and let's go to File, Save. Now, I'm going to go up here to this Minimize, and I have my incorrect project. I'm going to open that up. Now remember what we did is on the release of the button that was incorrect, it loaded into the first layer this movie right here, which is called incorrect, the SWF incorrect. Now it says sorry, and what we want is this button right here that says try again. What we want that to do is to close the movie so that then the answer is then available for the user. And so the code for that is, copy that, click on our button and go to the actions, and we'll just paste that right in. So this action script is pasted right onto that button that says try again, and what it says is on the release of the try again button, it's going to unload the movie that is currently in layer number 1. I'll decrease this actions button. I'm going to click Save. Here's a good point to try out our movie. So I'm going to click File for this incorrect, and I'm going to publish it, and that makes a SWF for us that's available. And I'm going to shrink this down, and I'm going to open up my main project, which is right here, by clicking Maximize. That too, I'll click Publish. So we will go to Control, Test Movie, and here's our welcome screen. Remember, this is frame 1. We put the action in to stop it right here at frame 1 until the user then clicks Start, and when they click Start, it goes to frame number 2, and we get our question number 1. What molecular structure is this? This is going to be our correct answer. We haven't rigged this up yet, but we do have 2 wrong answers. Methoxymethane, jet fuel, and ethanol, which is wood grain alcohol. And if I click number 2, let's see if it works. It loads up our external project right over the top of it and says sorry, it's not correct. And if I click the try again button, then it unloads this movie. If I click ethanol, which is also a wrong answer, I get that same movie which loads up right over the top of our main project, and when I click try again, it unloads. The key takeaway point at this point is that we created an external Flash movie, which was that incorrect answer. And what we've done is from our main project, we've called an external movie and loaded it right into our main project. And then from that external movie, which is our incorrect answer, we can then click a button which will unload it and take it back off of the stage of our main project, which is the quiz itself. So let's click here, this X, and close our test window. It's a good point to jump up there and make sure we're saved.